Congratulations. Cheers went out around the table full of some of West Coast finest in the LA underworld, there to celebrate BG on his most recent accomplishments. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. Please have a seat, he smoothly stated as the crowd took their seats, waiting his speech. Everything going on around us has only become possible because of everyone that now surrounds us. Loyalty is underrated, so have a look around. Take a stare at rareness in its purest form, and let us pay proper respects to the man upstairs for bringing us all together. I love each and every one of y'all. BJ proudly beamed out at the crowd as he slowly raised his glass. A toast. Loyalty, loyalty, yeah, yeah. And like that, the crowd was on its feet. Music began playing, and the party was in full swing. That was BJ, Trust remembered thinking, smiling up at this great man who she had been betraying. How did things come to this, she thought, as she caught a glimpse of Paco, BJ's right-hand man, and best friend, smiling at her from the shadows. Ugh, she shivered at the thought of his slimy hands been all over her body the night before. She didn't mean for things to get so out of control. She was just trying to get back at BJ for stepping out on her with her best friend. So, Paco, catching her in her vulnerable state, took advantage of this, and she had somehow become caught up in a deadly affair with no way out. She tried to break things off with Paco, but he threatened to expose her. She was trapped. What's more, she recently found out the slimy bastard was a rat, plans of setting BJ up and taking over. She had already convinced herself that tonight, after the party, she would come clean to tell BJ everything about her affair with Paco and her suspicions about his greasy activities. Hey, you, BJ said, walking over and snapping Trust out of her trance. You okay, baby? I'm fine, she reassured him as she returned his kiss. You ready? He asked True as they nodded at each other. He then nodded at his man who instantly began barking orders into their earpieces. Let's go, BJ said, leading the way out of the upscale restaurant to their awaiting limo. After saying their goodbyes, they were ushered away and headed towards their amazing Malibu estate, where they would spend hours drinking expensive champagne and making love till Tress passed out from exhaustion. Waking up late, hours later to an empty bed, Tress immediately begins to panic and scream out for BJ, only to receive echoes of silence bouncing back at her throughout the empty mansion. No, she begins crying out as realization that she may be too late slaps her in the face. Reaching for her cell phone, she rapidly begins dialing BJ's mobile, receiving his voicemail return. Please, please, she sobbed as she attempted to redial BJ's cell when boom. Get out was all she heard coming from somewhere downstairs as her once quiet home became alive with yelling police officers and annoying, barking canines. Floods of red and blue light filling up the wraparound driveway. Things were happening quick. It was like being stuck in a nightmare she couldn't awake from. Mrs. Keene, the gun-toting, badge-waving white man in front of her, states, Major Rodriguez, the DEA, we're here on authority of your Honorable Lester Cole with search and seizure warrants for your home and vehicles. Could you please come with me, he said as he extended his hand in an attempt to lead her out of the room and downstairs to where at least 30 to 40 more heavily armed officers ransacked her home. That's where once outside, and after further discussion with more aides, she found out about the raids on BJ's businesses and the shootout which had just occurred not even hours ago, leaving multiple law enforcement officials dead as well as BJ's bullet-riddled corpse as he went out in true gangster form with a smirk on his face and weapon hot and smoky in his hands. Crying uncontrollably, True fell out right at the agent's feet in agony of defeat as she had just lost everything. The best man she had ever known. Fortunately for True, this was only the beginning of what was to come. True Story, Chapter 1, Blueprints and Bluestrips. Skrr, boom, 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 boom. Boy, if you don't turn that damn game off and get your ass ready for school. Fuck, Loyalty murmured under his breath as he reluctantly began following his mother's instructions. What was that? Say it again. I ain't hear you, his mother said, appearing out of nowhere at his room door, pointing a big-ass spoon she had been using to stir their breakfast eggs with. Stuck, Ma. I said the game is stuck. I'm turning it off now. She said, rolling her eyes, heading back to the kitchen. Don't get fucked up, little boy. You hear me? Yes, my Loyalty said, shying heavily. Don't get fucked up, he repeated. I got you. Wash your face, brush your teeth, get dressed, and watch your damn mouth. Hurry up before the food gets cold so you can eat. Then get your smart ass out of my house and go learn something other than how to steal Cars kill cops and do drive-bys all over LA all day, she said, referring to his GTA game. You bought it, he thought, and I could take it back away just as fast, she yelled from somewhere in the kitchen. What the fuck, he mouthed. Don't think I can't hear you talking mess in that little big head of yours, she continued. Remember who had who. Damn, he thought. Miles didn't miss shit. What he didn't understand was he was his dad's twin. They were so much alike it was scary, Trust thought, from their physical features to their unpredictable tempers. Not to mention their greasy mouths. That boy had something smart to say every time he opened his. She wondered if she started smacking him around, would he smack her back for her troubles? She giggled at the notion. Why not? I mean, it's what his father would have done. Trust was 34 and had been raising loyalty on her own ever since his father was killed by a couple of trigger-happy ass cops in a raid on one of his many trap houses throughout South Central LA when Loyalty was just 13 years old, 4 years prior. Not surprisingly, his only dreams and aspirations were to be none other than just like BJ, his father. Even in death, he could envision no other suitable ending than that, in which required gunfire, dead cops, and thousands of shots fired. He made sure that that was no secret to anyone who would listen. Those who truly knew this potential finish as a great possibility. Either that or at the hands of some broken-hearted, love-stricken little heifer who'd rather see him in the dirt than happy with anyone other than herself. Trust me, trust Lou, she thought, as a slight chuckle escaped her lips as she replayed similar incidents from her past between her and his father. Except she could never actually bring herself to cause him any serious harm. She couldn't say the same for his unfortunate conquest who fell victim to her treacherous ways. Hey, my Loyalty said, snapping her out of the past and back into the present as he strode into the kitchen, plopping his tall, skinny self down in front of his plate. Hey, baby, she responded softly as she looked over her boy. Damn, he was handsome. He was 17 and already stood 6'2" with a little muscle-ripped stomach, chest, and arms. The boy had no legs, though, or ass for that matter. Trust wasn't 100% about his genetic makeup. His father was an exciting mixture of all kinds of shit, leaving Loyalty with a brown reddish complexion and skin glow. High cheekbones and extremely lengthy, silky black curly hair. The good shit, which he kept twisted into two long Indian braids that extended past his ass. He was definitely a prize. Trust had been chasing away little hoochies and beating up grown-ass women behind his boy since she caught him getting this little wee-wee sucked in the closet on his ninth birthday by some 19-year-old girl she had hired to babysit him. His little wee wasn't so little either. Another gift from his father. Ah, she missed him so much. Her heart hurt whenever she thought of him. Hello? Anybody in there? Ma, you okay, Loyalty asked her, staring at her strangely. Yeah, I'm fine, babies. Sorry, I was just thinking about your dad, that's all. Yeah, I noticed, you've been doing that a lot lately. There's some kind of an anniversary or special occasion you two share coming up or something? No, baby. Every time I see your handsome face, I just get lost in thoughts of him, that's all. But speaking of your father and special occasions, someone's turning 18 in 13 days, Trust said excitedly, winking at Loyalty. My, he shied, dreading another birthday without his pops. Don't mind me, boy. Listen, I know how much you hate your birthdays or whatever, but not this one you won't. I've been waiting to tell you something really, really important. I'm listening. Your father made you something in the event of his passing a while back and left it with a good friend of the family, an attorney to be given to you on the eve of your 18th birthday. Well, what is it? I don't know, sweetie. Your father left strict instructions that it would be received by you only. Why now, he asked. I don't know that either. Why wait till 5 years after his death, Ma? I don't know. Maybe that's when he felt you'd be ready to receive whatever it is he left for you. Ready for what, though? Ready for you to get ready for school. Now, come on, boy, she said, changing the subject and urging him towards the door. She knew he'd have questions. She may have had the answers, but now wasn't the time or a place for all that, she thought, as she watched him walk outside and greet his little pack of friends. 13 days, she thought. In 13 days, everything would change. For 4.5 years now, she's been dreading the day her son turned 18, the day he'd officially become a man, and there was nothing she could do about the events that were about to transpire. She made a pact with BJ not to interfere, as long as he agreed to let her son be a boy and lead a normal life until at least his 18th birthday, before exposing him to the harsh realities of his existence. He was a boss by birth. It was in his DNA, and he had inherited enemies which required immediate attention. And since he was the last remaining male of his bloodline, It was essential that he took the reins and rebuilt an empire destroyed by lies and deceit. Shying, she took one last glance at her baby, who was smiling back at her, waving before closing the door to her home to go get dressed, ready for work. Hey, Poppy, Apple said, greeting Loyalty with the usual embrace and peck on the cheek, followed by Stormy, Macy, and Mina, aka Mayhem, who were all cousins, the same age as him. They each grew up on the same block as Loyalty, since they were all in Pampers and had been thick as thieves ever since they could remember. Their fathers all grew up together and used to run shit back in their day. Loyalty, being the only boy in the pack, made each of them extremely protective of him, and they made no attempt to disguise the habit that they reached in regards to ridding him of any potential threats or outside influences, especially that of the female persuasion. You couldn't count the amount of black eyes given to bitches and niggas for giving him the eye. Those who didn't know the bonafide share would have sworn that they were all fucking each other or something. They all knew this. They didn't give three fucks about what an outsider thought, as long as they were smart enough to keep that shit in check and not on their lips. Was poppin', Loyalty said, smiling at his crew. They were all beyond beautiful with similar looks that varied between Rihanna, Christina Milian, Shanti, and Nunu from ATL, but were each with that gangster shit like that bitch Cleo and set it off, and as vicious as those out there in Colombiana. Some real goons. Nothing like these weak-hearted pretend soldiers that surrounded them daily with their forced fake smiles and fictitious love. She had become a master of recognizing, as he could see right through them, into the larceny in their hearts. Y'all niggas ready or what, he said as they began pushing down the block, headed in the direction of school, but with no intentions of going nowhere near a teacher today. The only lessons they intended on partaking in this afternoon was in the art of war, and they were to be the instructors as opposed to the students. You know it, Stormy said, playfully slapping him on his ass. What'd I tell you about sagging, though, nigga, she said, pulling up her white t-shirt, exposing the gray Sean John boxer briefs that were nearly all the way off of her ass under her blue Levi jeans, which were inching their way towards her knees. If you gonna do this shit, you better do that shit right. Mina finished forward, tripping Stormy goofy ass as she stumbled and fell into the grass as her 357 went flying off her waist and across the lawn as they all broke out laughing. Stormy instantly started cursing Mina out while getting up and grabbing her piece, which she pointed in the air. And boom, 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 began dropping off shots as they all took off running down the street and around the nearest corner, laughing the whole time. What the fuck, bitch, Macy yelled, bending the corner last and out of breath as they all ceased running and resumed walking. Why you always got to do some shit like that? She said, playfully pushing Mina. Hey, Mayhem Bart, why you push me for, bitch? Because you know how trigger happy this crazy asshole is, she yelled, referring to Stormy. Wild ass. Why would you get her started like that? That stupid shit on our fucking block early in the fucking morning. Damn, I know everybody else agreed. Looking at Mina, who stopped walking and balled up her face. Oh, hell no, she yelled as she too then went for her piece on her waist in an attempt to take her frustrations out in the sky. But they all knew each other and immediately tackled her old sensitive ass to rid of her weapon before they had to fuck around and hit another corner, messing with this stupid girl. Ah, get off me, she screamed as they relieved her of her pistol after a slight struggle. Man, why don't y'all niggas stop playing so fucking much? Apple screamed as some old lady sat on her porch with a day's paper in her hands, staring at them like they were crazy. Hello? Damn, bitch, you see something you like? Apple yelled at the frail woman, sending her scurrying inside her home. Come on, y'all, bring y'all stupid ass the fuck home, she yelled at the rest of the pack as they one by one began getting up and dusting themselves off. Okay, Mother Mina said as they all followed Apple as they teased her as she led the way to the secret hideout, which consisted of an old rundown two-car garage in the backyard of Loyalty's grandmother's on his dad's side, who had recently passed away a few years ago but left the old house and property to Loyalty. Even when his father was on top and raking in major dough, his grandmother refused to vacate her childhood home for some upscale mansion outside of the hood. Until the day she passed, she stayed right there,